What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are gonna check out a Mark IIc amplifier that you can actually afford. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take awesome high gain amps, guitars, cabs, speakers, pickups, overdrives, and plugins. I record them with a simple setup and give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes with comically large computer monitors, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Okay guys, so today we are checking out the brand new Fluff IIc plugin from my friends over at ML Sound Lab. Yet another collaboration between ML Sound Lab and Ryan Fluff Bruce, who I'm sure you're all familiar with at this point. They previously created the Amped Roots plugin. That was actually ML's first attempt at an amp sim, and it's awesome. So yeah, anytime Miko reaches out with a new plugin and wants me to check it out on the channel, I am absolutely down. But even though Miko sent me this in order to check out for you guys here on the channel, you are as always going to get my honest thoughts and opinions, so keep that in mind. So the Fluff IIc, what is it? So what is the Fluff IIc plugin? It is essentially a combination of multiple different 2C style Mark amplifiers. Without getting too into the details, I think that you guys are probably familiar with what the amp is essentially going to model. And as someone who has recently really kind of started to dive down the rabbit hole of Mark series amplifiers, I was actually super pumped when I found out that this was the next plugin from ML Sound Lab, because I really feel I have a grasp on these extremely hard to dial in amplifiers. And now I'm a little bit more equipped to judge this thing and give you guys my honest opinions on it. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and jump into the plugin and see what's going on in here. All right guys, so I have the plugin open. I have not touched any of the settings for this demo. We are going to be using my Gibson Les Paul traditional with a Duncan full shred pickup in the bridge. Here on the interface, we will take a quick look. What the hell just happened? So let's take a quick look at the interface. Starting off, you have the amp itself, and we've got all of our controls here on the front. We've got the famous 5-band EQ sliders here. We've also got a bright switch and a gain switch. Up here, you've got the amp selection. So there's actually 3 different amplifiers in this plugin. There's a 2C lead, a 2C shred, which is probably gonna be kind of like your bright, clanky rhythm style tones, and then a 2C clean. I'm really glad they added the clean channel because, oh wait, I don't care. But it's nice to have in there if you like playing music for weak people. And then over in the preset, we have a whole bunch of different Fluff created presets. So we're gonna dive into those for sure. Down here on the bottom panel, you've got a tuner, always a nice addition, and this one works really well. I think at this point, if you're releasing amp sim plugins without a tuner, you're essentially just doing it wrong. We've got the pedal board set up here, which if you are familiar with any of the other ML Sound Lab plugins, this is gonna be, you're gonna feel right at home here, because this is all the same stuff that is in pretty much all of the other sims. I really struggled with that sentence. I'm sure you guys couldn't tell. We've got our noise gate here, which I'm actually gonna turn this up a little bit because I'm having some noise issues in my basement at the moment. But yeah, compressor, drive, chorus, delay, reverb, we're gonna be hitting that overdrive real quick. Let's go over to the cab portion of the sim, and here we've got, this is again, the standard ML Sound Lab speaker impulse response layout here. So down here, we've got two different cabinets. We've got the mega oversized and the mega traditional. I'm pretty sure that you guys can wrap your head around what those are. And for each of those, we get 4 very common mic choices. And in the middle here, we also get a little mix function, so we can kind of lean one way or the other depending on what microphone we want to be dominant in the mix. We also get the ability to move the microphones left, right, and back and forth. So technically there's a ton of different impulse responses actually built into here, but still, it's nice and simple. There's not option paralysis. You're gonna be able to dive in here and essentially know which cabinet is going to fit the sound that you're going for and just kind of swap up the microphones in order to get you a little closer to where you're going. Yeah, that is pretty much it. It is a simple layout here, and I like that because simplicity makes it easier to just turn on and go. So with that being said, this is the stock preset when you open up the plugin, and we're gonna go ahead and see how that sounds. It's got that kind of, people use the term woody to describe the low mids. It's almost like a little bit boxy. It's kind of throaty, I guess. I'm using all the buzzwords all at once, but I think you guys kind of get what I mean. There's an enhanced low mid in the Mark series that's just kind of inherent to every one of the amps. Let's go ahead and check our input gain, make sure we're hot enough. All right, I'm getting just a little bit of green light there, so we're gonna dial it back down. Let's go ahead and check out these different presets. We are on Riffs and Beards, but let's go to Type of Creamy. All right, cool. So that one is a little bit sweet up top, but nice and punchy. Ice Cream Scoop. That is very 80s thrash. Let's go to Punchy Roar. All right, so that is kind of a little bit more vocal, a little bit more forward in the mids. Crunch Room. Kind of crunchy, not real saturated, and Fluff Dew. That has all the mids right there. And if you're familiar with this 5-band EQ that's typically on the Mark Series amps, having this middle 750 slider anywhere above this line instantly results in very vocal mid-range, very forward. They definitely got that part right. Let's go over to the 2C Shred, see how this differs. Immediately more aggressive, tighter, seems to have more presence and sound a little bit thinner overall. Dreamy Land, Dreamy Lead, I can read good. Ah, we got a little bit of delay there. Not quite the right pace, but sounds cool regardless. Let's go to Fast Solo. Yeah, again, it seems to be more lead. We've got Lost in Space. What's Filthy Sludge? And Fluff Neck Wash? Lots of different presets there for you guys to check out. I want to go back over to the lead and I want to dial in my own tone. So here's what we have. Let's go ahead and bump the presence up. Well, first off, let's go ahead and get that overdrive going. Oh, we don't want compressor either. Let's turn that off. I don't want that. All right, so let's get that drive and level set as if we were running a tube screamer. Woo, we're like there, right there. That sounds really good. Let's go back to the amplifier. All right, so let's go ahead and push that gain up a little bit. I like my saturation. Okay, so let's talk about the controls on this real quick, because the Mark series functions way different than pretty much any other amp you're used to. All of these actual knob EQs are pre-gain, which means that they function so much differently. They're more of a feel thing and less actually shaping the EQ, which is why the 5-band EQ is a must on the Mark series, because that is really how you're going to shape the EQ on this amp. So the bass being this high means it's going to be naturally fatter. If you want a really tight bass, you dial it down on the real amps anyways. And if you want a fatter sound, you dial it up. As you can hear, there's some sag and everything in that when you dial the bass up, but you can dial, which is just like the real deal, but you can dial the bass down to keep it tight and then dial your 80 hertz slider up here. And you still get that bass low end punch, but it stays tight. So let's pull some of these low mids out. I'm going to dial this mid down here a little bit. And then let's dial up the upper mids just a tad. Let's dial the middle control. The middle control on the real deal will kind of focus the mids more the higher you turn it up. So now it's real aggressive. Let's pull it back down to about 5. And the treble will kind of control the gain. When you turn the treble higher, it seems to let more gain through in the signal. When you turn it lower, it does darken the amp, but it really kind of seems to subdue the gain a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that immediately sounds drier. Let's turn it back up and it should sound wetter and brighter. Everything functions exactly as it should as far as comparing to a real Mark amp. All right, with that being said, it's sounding a little bit too cocktail for me. Let's pull these upper mids down. Still not quite happy with that. Let's get a little bit more of this low end and a little bit more low mid back in. All right, so that sounds good to me. Let's get a little bit more top end with this 6600 slider here. I think we've got ourselves a tone. That sounds awesome. I really like how that sounds, actually. Let's go to the Fluff IIC shred. Oh, this is an 80s thrash dream amp right here. So yeah, let's get just a little bit more gain. Okay, it's good. All right, sounds really good. Let me grab a guitar in D standard and let's see how this thing sounds for a drop tune riff, and then we will wrap this up. All right, guys, I have a Dunnable D2 RE here with the stock pickups in it. These are a little lower output. This is in drop. Oh, that is a great D standard rhythm tone. Finally, let's get a little bit tighter on the bass. Let's pull that bass down to almost 0. Oh yeah, that is nice. Alright guys, it sounds awesome. It really does. I'm really impressed. I think the tones in here are great, very reminiscent of the amps that they are supposed to model. All the controls work as they should, or at least as they do on the real thing. Everything reacts very similar, and if you know what you're doing, you can get an awesome, awesome tone, especially if you're going for some of the signature tones that these amps are kind of known for. So, but yeah, I really liked it, and if you like what you hear here, you can hear. You can actually go over to ML Sound Lab's website, which I will link down below in the description. You can download a free trial of this where you can kind of sample the tones. The sound will cut out every now and then, but still, you'll get an idea of what this thing does, if it's going to be right for you. And if you like it, it's on introductory sale right now for €45, or which is basically $45. So again, I will link down below in the comments if you guys want to pick this up. What did you think? Like, what do you think about the interface? Do you think it sounds like the amp that it is trying to emulate? Do you think that it sounds good? Bad? Do you think it's something that you're gonna pick up? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll be sure to meet you guys there to talk about it. Thanks again to Miko for sending this over for me to check out with you guys. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. If you did, hit the like button. Consider subscribing so you don't miss my future stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.